This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
You know how sometimes the first play of the game can be a real tone setter?
Aussie.
Yeah, I basically just went with Ashton Jen Teabag.
NFL.
He's not a walking 7 for 70 as I learnt last week when he went 1 for 5.
Fantasy.
I'd probably lean towards taking Henry maybe ahead of McCaffrey just because of what I've seen.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Loading.
Australia's premier NFL fantasy show is back with thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. They call me Matty C, and joining me all June for all the fantasy football you can handle is Australia's finest fantasy analyst. His name's Talor Goodall. He's right here. Mate, welcome back.
Boys, here we are again. Sitting here are three of the most handsome men. But then again, I could have shit for friends. Let's fucking go.
What happened at the end there?
Shit for friends? That's how it works, isn't it? Oh, that's how it works now.
Yeah, okay. It's maybe the less famous interpretation of that saying then.
It's the most famous one after this podcast airs.
That's it. It's going to be on a bumper sticker. Look out for it. Oh, my gosh. Mate, it is great to have you back. One thing that's changed since I saw you last, we've got a whole bunch of new folks tuning in this season round. What's going on there, mate?
Yeah, we did until that joke, until that rhyme. So, guys, it's been nice to know you for a 1.1 episode. So it was a really nice nudge of viewership there for a while. But yeah, absolutely, mate. Definitely had a good week last week, and hopefully these guys are back to listen to this absolute shit talk that we're going to do tonight.
Mate, I was really pumped about it, but hey, look, thanks for stopping by. Yeah,
look, it was a good run.
Yeah, that imposter syndrome, man. I knew it was too good to be true. In reality, though, when we do get new people in the fantasy community, we do really celebrate it. You and I, Tay, we talk about it almost nonstop off air when we can see that there's any change in how our listenership is growing. And because to us, it means that there's more people clued in and listening in who've got more ideas, more opinions, more strategy. And if someone listening right now who hasn't been with us terribly long does want to get more involved with the podcast or potentially wants to do what is going to happen tonight and become a guest on the show, how would they go about that?
Yeah, guys, honestly, a huge part of what we're doing and we're trying to achieve, like we basically started this last year where we wanted a new person on the show every week. We wanted people we could get onto the show as possible, different ideas, different ways about going about fantasy, just different banter. And you know, we really want to do that again this year. So if you're a new listener of the show and you've never heard us wankers chat, well, reach out to us. Matt Connor is our great host, and he's someone you can reach out to on any of the socials. I'm Talor Goodall. If you want to reach out to me, you can basically go through our page. You can either go through the Aussie Gridiron Network, which is all of us combined, or you can go to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show if you want to go directly to there on basically Instagram, Facebook, anything you want to do. So reach out to any of us that way, because we'll get you on at any stage this year. We do some great stuff in the regular season. We'll get you on for starts of the week, which you'll get to know as this season goes on. And it's an absolutely amazing segment that we do in the regular season. But just in general, we just want to have you on and get you chatting about fantasy, because that's what we're all here for.
What we're here for. And I was only talking to one of these great guests who's about to come on the show later this month too, through the day today, about just how great it is to talk to people who've got different perspectives, and they like players maybe I don't like, or they've got a strategy they've tried before that I haven't tried before, or they're in a league format I haven't tried. It's just, you're always learning, and the best way to learn is from the fantasy community. So that's kind of what the whole thing is. We're trying to want to share those perspectives. Mate, last time we actually talked, though, Tay, a couple of weeks ago, we did our first dissection of our initial rankings at each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Some things have changed a bit, and we've been doing our best to try and keep that top 15 updated on our Instagram, on Facebook, at each of the quarterback, running back, wide receiver positions. Just in the last couple of days, there's been a little bit of movement at a couple of positions. Can I just get quickly from you, has anyone jumped or fallen somewhat significantly for you in the last couple of days, real quick?
I wouldn't say significantly, but okay. I'm basically putting all my chips on Kyren Williams. I've been pretty bullish about Chase Brown, and I actually decided to move Kyren in front. And a huge reason for that was because I've been doing some mock drafts for Astro, and basically every single time I've seen both of those guys get to me, I'm taking Kyron every single time. And
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty dead giveaway about where I should have my rankings. And I look at the situation that he has. I just think that Rams offense is going to be amazing. I think the offensive line is a huge part of it. The latest rankings I've seen, I haven't seen PFF update theirs yet, but I did find a ranking site that had them fifth in terms of O-line ranking for this year. I think that's a huge part of it. I just think with Adams coming in there, I know that technically he could take some touchdowns off him, but I just think the offense is just going to be amazing. The defense in general is probably going to be middle of the pack. I know Verse is going to take a step up, but I think in general their defense is probably going to be in the middle of the pack, which is good for fantasy. So I just think that offense is going to be amazing. So I've moved him up to 7, and compared to ADP, that's super high this year. Like, he seems to be going anywhere between 10, sometimes 13 in the running back position I've seen. Like, it's just absurd. So I'll be having a lot of Kyron again this year, I think.
Man, there's both of us 7 now. Simpatico, it's so weird that we're agreeing so much. It's making me feel uneasy. I've been sleeping poorly.
Oh, no. Yeah, we'll definitely find some stuff that we're not simpatico on.
And mate, the other move that has happened in the last 24 hours, we saw Nick Chubb has actually signed at the Texans, and it does bother me a little bit for Mixon, but I haven't changed his ranking yet. I kind of had in there, someone's going to share something with Mixon. It always has been the case, so I haven't moved Mixon at all. Did that adjust Mixon for you?
No, and I think all that's going to do for me is it's probably going to mean I'm going to end up with more of him, because I was actually speaking to someone who's been on our show earlier today, and he kind of asked me about the Chubb situation and what I think. And I basically thought that it really just proves to me that they don't have a lot of interest in Pierce moving forward. I just think they thought that this was a good opportunity for a cheap backup who they actually have a bit more confidence in. And I personally don't like the move for if I'm a Chubb owner in Dynasty, because I just don't think this is an amazing situation. They have the second worst ranked offensive line, and he's basically going in straight behind an incumbent that he's not going to take anything from. So I don't personally see this as a huge hit to Mixon, but I think in the fantasy community, some people will. So I often scoop up Mixon a lot of years because he just goes far lower than I believe he should. And I think this is the kind of news that could at least bump him down a few spots that just means it's just going to be even better value.
100%. The other move that happened today that was kind of a little bit of an obscure one was all of a sudden J.K. Dobbins wound up as a pretty much Cleveland quarterback room-esque a number of abundance for the Denver running backs. Have they got 4 legitimate running backs on that roster now? Do you have a take on that situation quickly?
I have a take on it, and I was trying to explain this in our little group chat that we have as well, where, yes, I think all this did to me was prove that the Sean Payton offense is just not going to have one guy. It's just going to constantly be a split, and it's going to be frustrating like it was last year. The only difference for me is I think the pie for the running back position is going to be far bigger than a lot of people do. I think this Broncos team is going to be amazing at running the ball. So talking about offensive line rankings, the last one I saw, they have the second best offensive line coming into this year. I think this team's going to lead a lot in games. They also have the second best defense, according to a lot of different rankings in terms of defenses. So I think this team could be in front. I think they could be leaning on the run a lot. And I just think there's going to be an opportunity where, yes, you could see a split, but could RJ Harvey, let's just put him first because he's obviously the one that's got the draft capital. Could he do a lot of third down work, but also get, let's say, 40% of the first down attempts? That, to me, could probably be enough this year for me with this Denver offense. The problem is, are we going to see more McLaughlin? Are we going to see Estime? Are we going to see 4 guys? If it's 2, I'm very interested in both of them because I think J.K. Dobbins is actually going to be a huge value because I don't think he's going to go very high just all of a sudden because he's gone to Denver. If it's 2 guys, I'll be interested in both of them. I think they could both be values, but the worry is it's 4 and you're just going to get it carved into quarters every single game. I'm leaving it open. I'm actually a little bit bullish, but if I was to take one, it might actually be Dobbins because I'm probably just going to take the best value of them all.
Yeah. Take the cheapest. I mean, so that's an evolving situation. We'll learn more about that as time comes by. Those are really fast-hitting pieces of analysis from Australia's finest fantasy analyst right now as these have all unfolded in the last 24 hours. Tay, we will come back to those things in future, but, mate, I want to introduce our very, very special guest for today.
The third handsome man, mate. Oh, we've only been talking to 2 handsome men so far. Where's the third? Let's bring him in.
Do you want to know what's happening here? He's the horn-blasting, beard-wielding warlord of the Aussie Gridiron podcast scene. A man who looks like he was born to pillage opposing defenses and scream "Skull" into a mic. When he's not the voice behind Gday Gridiron, that's 100 episodes plus deep, by the way. If you haven't found it, go and find it. He is continually bringing the heat and melting down over the slow death of the word gridiron in this country. If you say American football around him, he may brain you. He's a proud Minnesota Viking tragic, also weirdly a Newcastle Jets loyalist. And this week he's got bragging rights after one of his own, Nick Cosmai, from the Gday Gridiron podcast, was actually picked in the Australian Outbacks Gridiron squad. Beard like a Viking, heart like a fan, mic like a damn cannon. Strap in, it's Ian from Gday Gridiron. Mate, have you ever been introduced like that before?
I'm assuming, thank you very much, Matty. Thank you very much. I'm assuming the reference to Mike there at the end was my penis.
There's the first penis.
And I tell you what, like your intro, I would give that a solid 8.5 out of 10. Taylor's, on the other hand, it was much like my sex life. It started hard and ended soft.
Oh, mate, at least it got hard at one stage. That's all that matters.
3. I gotta stop counting them out loud.
Thank you, Matty. Yes, and absolutely. Like, I'm not claiming any of Nick Cosmay or his absolute achievement in gaining selection to the Aussie Outback squad as one of the O linemen there. So I think he said they were picking 6. So
yeah, 6 or 7, I think he said.
Yeah. So when you're one of 6 in the country, and there was a couple more that rocked up, but when you're one of 6, you're doing pretty damn well.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a 3-time champion like Nick is already with the SA Uni Hogs, then you're doing pretty damn well as well. And I know that dude. He's living for the game right now. So
yeah,
he will do absolutely anything. But yes, happy to be here, mate. Absolutely stoked to be here. I'm getting a sense of what it's going to be like to do our G'day Gridiron episode this week, and I'm thinking I might have to bring out the hoodie or maybe a blanket when we get talking to the boys later this week. We usually end up waffling for way too long anyway, and I can guarantee that's what's going to happen with Nick and Brad on the podcast this week.
I mean, continued success for GG, by the way, and we've seen... Talor and I have been talking about how it's great to see new people in the fantasy community. There's been a whole bunch of new folks come and discover G'day Gridiron through the week too. You must be pretty encouraged by that.
Super happy about it, mate. I'm hoping we do a terrific job. I'm hoping people think that we're at least vaguely entertaining for Australians just talking about NFL football. But hopefully people do find us entertaining and they are tuning in. If you haven't tuned in yet and you were listening to this and you've come via another fantasy pod or you found the fantasy guys, please do give GG a listen on the same feeds. We make it really easy. So everybody is on the same feed. So just it'll drop around like a day. It depends on when Matty puts his out at the moment because he's got a 2-day window that he's taking up right now. But yeah, it'll drop. If you see G'day Gridiron, find it there. If you happen to be on YouTube, Matty, I've been doing YouTube or putting everything out on YouTube this year. The boys were pretty keen on it. We finally talked Brad down off the ledge. Like, his students aren't going to see it and make fun of him. You can find it on YouTube as well, which is on Mandrot's YouTube page at Pastry Press NFL. So I don't know. It's going to be a riot when we get Talor on in a few weeks' time for an episode we've been planning. I'm just wondering what kind of face he's going to bring to the table for that.
I can oath. Look at my face tonight, mate. Absolutely pristine. You're just going to get more of that.
For those who are on radio only, I've got to describe, I get Tay to do this every time. His name on the Zoom chat tonight is the Denver Broncos. That's the tee up. Tay, describe what's going on here.
Look, just a fresh face, stud of a man, just looking at you guys in all my greatness every time I speak. I bring it up, great white background, tie, dressed to the 9. That's just who I am, mate. And look, you're just going to get absolutely fantastic chat out of me all night. So if for anyone that's not looking or on the YouTube or anything, just imagine the most handsome man alive.
What I'm seeing here, right, is...
It's debatable
I know
whether
who the person is, right? I know the identity of the face, but if I didn't, I kind of feel like I'd be getting real estate agent, secondhand car yard salesman.
He's definitely real estate agent. Real estate agent for 100%, Matty.
The reason I'm going to secondhand car yard guy is because he looks like he's seen a little too much sun. He's a bit leathery.
No, that's what's got me. He's one of these real estate agents that goes around selling the multi-million-dollar mansions in LA.
Oh,
so yeah, the ones
$1 million listing guy, right?
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
And just to add to your dick counter, the last name of this person rhymes with dicks.
We got that, Tay.
Thank you.
At this stage, I think I've got 6 dings in the episode already. I'm going to keep the ding counter going. So at home, drink. Every time you hear a bell, drink.
More dicks than minutes. That's what we promise here at the Aussie NFL Fantasy Podcast.
Is this a bit of a foreskinning for later for the QB you might take?
Mate, of course it is. And foreskinning, yet another dick joke.
Yes.
You didn't need to call that out, Taylor.
Oh, I did. I'll call them all out.
Now, Ian, I've got some bad news for you. We put you through a segment last year called 5 Questions from 2 Dickheads, and I know that you were somewhat prepared for it. This year, the segment continues with different questions, and you're the first person to get them.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, but it can't be 2 dickheads anymore because you two have definitely aged. So,
old dickheads?
I don't know. Is there a level beyond dickhead?
We did come up with a lot of different names last year, so it never really stuck with dickhead. But there was some ass clowns, there was some dick sandwiches or something. I can't remember. There was a lot of different names we had. I just mentioned quickly, Matty, why we sort of do this because obviously there might be some people that didn't.
I think it's important.
Basically, if we're having a new person on or just obviously we were getting a different host on each week, we basically did something called 5 Questions from 5 Wankers, Dickheads, whatever you wanted to call it. And it was just basically at the start of each episode because we wanted to get to know who we were chatting to, whether that was just to make the person that was coming onto the show just a bit more comfortable, like just getting sort of that out of the way before we just sort of dove straight into NFL fantasy chat. But it was good for anyone listening to the show too, just to sort of get an idea of who they're actually listening to. So we're basically going to do that again this year. For anyone that's brand new, we'll probably do the same questions for them that we did with everyone last year. But for Ian, obviously, and a lot of the guys that were on last year, we just come up with 5 other questions that we're going to try and get through from this year, just to be dickheads, really. We might get through them a bit quicker than we did last year.
Another great guest is here. Are they up to the standard?
Busier than a one-legged cat in a sandbox, so I am good.
My boy!
Only one way to find out.
This is what the people come here for.
I've heard everyone's answers about these, and I've had to think about it.
5 questions, 2 dickheads. Loading.
All right, we also, with this segment this time around, not only we changed questions, we're also mixing it up. Taylor's going to lead in with the first question this time.
I'm scared of... Is Taylor going to serious questions?
No, so that's a different change last year, whereas we did like Matty basically did the serious questions and I did the absolute fucked up shit. Basically, everything's... I would say most things are pretty similar this year. Like they're all kind of got something you'd think about. But no, I would say like I haven't got like the most ridiculous ones and Matty's got the sensible ones this year. They're all kind of the same. Anyway, this one's perfect for me to ask. It actually makes sense me being this one.
Yeah.
And this is very topical for everything that's been going on, even outside of NFL fantasy. Question 1. Would you rather fight 1 Derrick Henry-sized Kyler Murray or 10 Kyler Murray-sized Derrick Henrys?
1 Derrick Henry size, so a Kyler Murray that is a behemoth?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or 10? Is that what you said?
10
Kyler Murrays that are basically midgets. Oh, I can't say that word.
Derrick Henry is the size of Kyler Murray.
We've been cancelled again.
Yes. Sorry, Matty, I just got us cancelled. If it's the 1 Kyler Murray, he wouldn't be able to hit the broadside of a barn unless I was 70 yards away. So I reckon I could take him down. I'm going 1 Derrick Henry-sized Kyler Murray. Because I reckon if I got in close to him and underneath him, there's no way he's going to hit me unless he starts moving with his legs, rolling out of pockets unnecessarily, and then hoiking a ball 70 yards down the pitch.
The problem with that is you've now got Derrick Henry who's as quick as Kyler. That's not good. Because you're basically the fact that it's actually a Derrick Henry size Kylie. He's still getting all close speed and everything, but he's just fucking all of a sudden Derrick Henry size.
Well, I think I'm more worried about the 10 small Derrick Henrys because I feel like they could gang up on you.
Yeah.
Like that's where my brain went.
Also, you can fold them up and put them in your pocket. I mean, they're also very little.
They might be small, Matty, but there's still a lot of power down low. And I think with 10
I've
of
never
them,
known what that's like.
I think 10 guys who can basically like palm you out of the way, or just run over you. I'm not into. And then I'm into guys running over me, but not in that way. But it's 10 of them that size. Yeah, I'm going the big.
I'm going the big one. I understand.
I'm going the big one. I'm going the big Kyler Murray because I think I have a bit more luck.
The big one. That's a new joke. All right, Matty, on to the next one, mate.
Ding. So, Ian, who's one fantasy player that you've often avoided drafting because you just can't understand their height?
Oh, that is a great question, Matty, because there's actually a few of them.
We've got one or two, right?
George Kittle.
Straight into it. George legit. What are you
now? I know Taylor's got a massive love, but being the tight end guy and I don't know, I kind of went deep into I went deep into tight ends. I should have just said that straight out loud. I went, deep. No one else really likes tight ends. You two shit all over them. You say they're not. What's the point in them? All this sort of stuff. Everybody, the whole fantasy community does. What's the point in tight ends? Yeah, Taylor constantly carries on every year once we get deep into the season where he's like, fuck tight ends, a bunch of assholes.
That actually sounds nicer than what I say. So
when I look at tight ends in fantasy, obviously you want guys that are catching passes, that are doing the offensive stuff because that's where the points are. But George Kittle, because he has this love of being just the complete tight end and he loves anything on a field, just normal fantasy-wise, normal football-wise, yeah, he just loves to get involved in pass protection, especially and that's what he built a brand on for so long. And he's such an amazing tight end, and he's so good at it that the pass catching is very rare. And I've never understood it. This year could be a little bit different because the 49ers are a bit more of a basket case, and it might be a bit more opportunity for him to sort of get more passes. And I know you guys talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but in terms of up until now, I've just never understood when people just hype the crap out of him, put him into like first or second tight end off the board. I'm like, what for? It doesn't make any sense. But so there you go, straight away, Kittle.
It's funny because I brought this up with Matty. Is it's proof in the pudding of how different each fantasy season is. That you don't go in just believing what you've thought in the past, and that's the biggest. George Kittle is the biggest one for me because I've always been on the same side as you. I've always talked down George Kittle, not saying that I believe he's a bad pick or anything like that, but I've just never seen upside in him, and I've never liked his ADP. Even if he's the fifth or sixth tight end drafted other years, I still don't like it because I just don't see the upside. Unless there's three other guys injured on his team. He's just not used that way. Whereas this year, I think it's completely different. I just think there's so much opportunity for him. But I'm the same as you. Every other year, I've never understood taking him there. I've kind of felt like it's a little bit of a wasted pick because you're kind of just getting him and then waiting 4 weeks and hoping other guys get injured around him. But yeah, I just think it's completely different for him this year. But yeah, I'm normally with you. Here's another regulation question from me. So, people are getting off easy here. Here's a pretty general one.
I love to get off easy.
Who's your arch rival in fantasy football?
My arch rival? What do you, as in
in leagues. If you've got leagues that you're generally with the same people, or you've got one main league
one person you just want to fucking beat. You circle that bitch on the calendar and you just have to take them down.
I don't know if there's a person that I definitely want to beat you every time. I actually, you know what? And it popped into my head straight away, and I don't think you'll hate me for saying this, but it's actually Manjot.
Yeah, that's actually who I thought you'd say.
Because him and I seem to have this huge laugh where we do. Our teams can be complete basket cases, and then we'll play each other, and they'll be 100 180-point game each games for no fucking reason. Like, we'll be on our second string wide receivers sets, and no. At one point, I had to borrow a running back off you. Like, I had to beg and plead to get one off you, Taylor. And you gave me Ramondre, and then he was a bucket of assholes. I get into a matchup against Manjot, and then all of a sudden, like, it's point for point right to the end, and I'm like, God damn, why every time? It doesn't make sense. I actually think it's Manjot, and not for any vindictive reason. Just we always have, in terms of being an arch rival, we always have really good games against each other. I think that's where it is.
And, like, that's the point there. Arch rival doesn't have to be, like, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's not like, I fucking hate this guy. Like, it's just that, like, competitive thing in fantasy where you're just like, you know what? I might circle that guy on the calendar each year where I just want to get the better of him.
Yeah.
Mate, would you rather have all of your fantasy decisions made either A, by the flip of a coin, or B, by your mother? Go.
Well, okay. Well, I'll rationalise this in this way. A lot of my fantasy decisions are based off heart and not brain, so I feel like that's flip of the coin as it is. So I may as well give Mum a shot because she can't do it badly. So
come on, go Mum.
Amy.
I can go into every single fantasy draft, every single one of those. It could be a mock draft, and I will go into it with the best of intentions. I am going to try this strategy this time around, or this is what I'm going to think. I think I'm going to do this year. I'm not going to take quarterback early. I'm going to go and build from the ground. We're going to go running back. We're going to take a good wide receiver. We're just going to build, and I'm going to take that quarterback at the end, like Matty and Taylor have been trying to teach me for years now. And then I will get second round, and I'll go, Kyler Murray's still available. Fuck yes. I'm just done, Or there was one time where I was like, I'm going to do this. Absolutely, I'm going to do this. No one's going to move me off it. And nobody took Josh Allen in the first 4 picks, and I was the 5th pick, and I was like, Josh Allen, baby.
Welcome to the team.
So,
let it rip.
And after that, everything goes terrible. So, I feel like Mum can't do any worse. I could give Mum a shot with the flip of the coin, and she'd probably do better.
Let's get Mum and T in a league this year, Tay. I think that's one of the things.
How great would it be to have a fantasy league with our parents?
Mums. Yeah. Mama Matty C would just be so brilliant at this.
Get Mum
I'm pretty sure she doesn't even know what American football is.
To sit and teach our mothers about fantasy football and have them compete in a league, it'd be hilarious. Yeah. I reckon Manjot's Mama Towel's up though.
Yeah, Mama Jot.
Yeah.
Mama Jot would be, because she's used to listening to rattle on.
We'll get to the last one just so we get through it. So this one's a bit of a thinker. So this is probably the most guinea pig question of it. If you could have any sporting movie character join your fantasy football team, who would it be?
Sporting movie character. So sporting specifically?
Yeah. I would still lean in the sporting side. I've got to get the name right. This is the first one that popped into my brain. Okay? All right.
Cole Trickle. Days of Thunder, baby. Days of Thunder. Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder.
Right, I've never seen it.
He's that perfect blend of like high risk and rogue, kind of like a maverick kind of character, but also has just enough demons that it's not going to do anything too crazy.
Yeah. Just enough. See? Perfect. Sums it up, Matty.
You know who's going to fucking love this question? Pete Neal.
I just love that you two were probably shooting for like a football reference or something.
Oh, I don't mind. This is going to happen a lot too. Like especially if Pete's on. Like it'll be someone niche that I've never even heard of. But
I can't wait to hear Pete's. To be honest, I love Pete's answers last year to these questions. That episode was sensational.
Lyme disease out of nowhere.
Shout out Lyme disease.
I know. Tell us something interesting about yourself, and all of a sudden Pete rattles off 5 interesting things in 30 seconds that are more interesting than anything I've done in 45 years.
I'm so unprepared.
Questioning what I've done with my life after talking 3 minutes.
Yeah, so, I don't watch. I've never watched. I don't think I've ever watched a complete NFL-based or football-based movie.
Most of them are terrible, so let's just put that out there.
I know, but everyone carries on about a couple of them.
Yeah, it's like two good ones.
I like
What's the draft?
Remember the
What's the draft one?
Remember the Titans guy.
I think Remember Titans is the one that I've seen the most of, and most of that is because of TikTok videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
Let's go. No, I love that. The perfect answer. And when you said the name, because I've seen like 15 movies in my life, I'm like, I've seen this movie. Who is this? And it wasn't until you mentioned the movie, but I knew I was going to know the character. So
yeah, that's why
that comes up a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. Thanks for being our guinea pig for the 5 questions for the returning guests.
I love that this went for 20 minutes.
Gday Gridiron.
Some of the things that come out of my mouth, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, I joke that I've got enough drops from Brad right now that I could probably create Brad AI.
Twice a week, all season long on the Aussie Gridiron Network.
I don't care that you're 22 years old. No phones!
Gday Gridiron.
Mate, before we get into our mock draft this week, though, I want to run through a couple of questions in the mailbag. It's a feature from 2024 that we're going to keep rolling. Every show, we're going to dig deep into the sack and also the mailbag and harvest some questions to help fantasy managers dominate. And I want to pull up the first one. That's
Does
a
the ball sack... I got a question first before we dig into the mailbag. Does a ball sack joke count to the dick counter?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was a point of conjecture. I needed to know. It's
the same.
It was super important to me.
It's still in the same region. It's still the same region, isn't it?
That's the same equipment. I think,
I'm hoping my tight end jokes count too. So it's
yeah. Good. We want this counter at the end.
Surely you must have questions.
Please reach out to us.
When Tate and I get asked about fantasy advice, we are not backwards about coming forwards at any stage.
Get your question read live on the show.
If you've got a mailbag question or if you're really keen to just get on the show, we'll make it work.
At Aussie NFL Fantasy on Facebook and Instagram.
The first one comes in from @Drop Beers. I like that, @Drop Beers. Getting philosophical in June already. Is zero RB a viable strategy in 2025? Tay, you jump on this one first.
Zero RB.
I mean, look, I personally think any strategy's warranted. Like, if you can get yourself good draft day value and you, let's just say you decide to go early with your wide receivers and you just get 3 really early that you really like, then I think it's viable. I also think a no wide receiver, thing would work if you've got 3 RBs that work really well. I'm just a big caveat. I'm always into going into your draft without a strategy. I don't think you should ever go in saying to yourself, I'm going to do this before it even starts, because you're going to miss value if you do that. You really just need to go into your drafts fresh and have your own rankings, have your own system, and whatever falls to you, and you take the best value you believe in that spot. So don't go into a strategy. Do I think it is viable if you get 3 good wide receivers? Great. But don't go in and say, I have to get 3 wide receivers in those first 3 picks, because you're going to miss out on an amazing running back who fell to you. So that would be my biggest advice, especially in June.
Yeah, I've just told you why you don't go with strategies, because you end up just picking the random awesome QB anyway, just because he falls to you. So, and you just live with it. I'm just having a quick look at rankings again, just like where you would be if you weren't at the top. So if you were going zero RB,
if you went 3 rounds without a running back, you didn't draft one till round 4, so now you're talking maybe between 15 and 20.
Yeah, so I'm looking at if you jump to 15, and this is ESPN rankings, by the way. So some of them are cooked. You guys have already talked about how wrong some of these already are, and I totally agree with it. At 15 is Alvin Kamara. Then you got Chuba Hubbard. Then you got James Conner. Then you got Joe Mixon. Like those 4 guys.
Got 2 of them. Say if you just got 2 of them, round 4 and 5.
I could live with that. I could live with that. Even further down, like Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, for God's sakes, don't start me on that one, because but he's at 25 on ESPN. So if you're into your 3rd, 4th, 5th round and he's still there, why would you go zero RB? Because that's some pretty good value.
But that's what those names you brought up are a perfect game, because I think that's more what you're looking at if you're going a zero RB. Like, it could even be deeper, because to me, a zero RB isn't just like, oh, you missed the first 3 rounds. Like, it's like you've gone 4 straight wide receivers, a quarterback, a tight end, and you're looking at round 5. Because to me, that's not zero RB. That's just like you took some value on some wide receivers and then all of a sudden went in the 4th round. Like that, I don't see that as zero RB. Like, to me, zero RBs, you're going as fucking deep as possible. So I think, guys, I'm not saying that's exactly how it is. It's just the way I look at it. Like that's kind of why I brought up about just taking value as it comes. Like I don't think that all of a sudden means you have gone 0 RB because your first one's in the 4th round. Like that's just something that'll happen. Whereas 0 RB is like that is fucking you have just punted on that position basically and just taken the value everywhere else, and then you're looking at like Aaron Jones. Maybe even deeper as your running back 1.
Oh, God,
well, I tell you one I talked to you about when we talked on text after when you guys went through your running back rankings and stuff, and you were talking about it. Jordan Mason is at 42 on the ESPN rankings, and I would if I was in the bottom end of what is it? It's going to end up being 6th round, 7th round, and Jordan Mason was there. I'd be happy with that because I think he's just the ultimate handcuff to Aaron Jones this year. So
he'll have value as more than just a handcuff. I agree. I like Mason.
So they're the ultimate 1-2 punch in that team right now, the way that team's set up. So if you get that far down, I'm looking at, Jordan Mason or Najee Harris. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, Najee, our boy.
This is going to come up when we bring our next load of mock drafts through in 2 weeks too, because I was talking to a future guest around this very question today, and similar sort of answer was, actually that range of 20 and later, it really depends. And Tate, you and I have been through this before. Do you call that drop off the dead zone or do you call it the value zone? If you call it the value zone, you're in a position to go 0 RB and be comfortable.
That's a mindset.
That's a mindset. Zone. So I think to me, I'm terrified of the idea of just completely skipping RB in the first 4 or 5 rounds. To me, I don't think I've got the stones. I don't think I've got the stones.
I think it's a mindset too, though, Matty. That's what it is. I think if you have a positive mindset of I'm going to get value here.
Last year we said that.
Then you're okay. Because I think your value really comes in the middle of the season when everybody's top picks are all injured, and you're the only one left.
Yeah. And this is why you don't win your league in the draft. It's all about your move.
Well, unless you're Manjot, but.
It's about Manjot likes to tell everyone he's won the draft, but
co-ownership with that guy was fun.
But yeah, that's why for anyone out there, don't get too disheartened by whatever draft you do on draft day, because that's not where you win it. You win it with your trades. You win it with your pickups on waivers. Like everything changes. It's very rare someone just runs the table with the team they drafted and they barely change anything.
Yeah, no, perfect. That covers our mailbag. It was a philosophical question. I only brought the one because it was the biggest, meatiest question out of the bag.
Is that a dick joke?
Thank you. Is it? Is that a dick joke?
It's a dick. It's adjacent. Dick adjacent.
Dick adjacent. That's a dick joke. There you go. We got there. So look, get your questions in. We take them from... Well, everywhere. You can send them to Talor at Talor41. You can send them to me at Matty Podcast. You can also send them to at Aussie NFL Fantasy. All of those will get them to us. We read a few on the show every single time. And this is no exception. So that's it. That gets us to the end of the Friday show. We'll all be back on Sunday for the full mock draft. Ian, Taylor, very excited about it. In the meantime, fellas, hooroo.
Arrivederci.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including Gday Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo.